as many of you asked for a boat tour, that's what we're going to do today, isn't it? We're going to show you inside and outside the boat, all the electrics and all the bits.
Absolutely. Let's go for a tour.
So here we have the pilot house. So we have 3 seats here because if the weather is not good and people don't want to sit outside, means me or our guests, we can just sit inside comfortable and watch what's going on outside. So we have the navigation station here with all the instruments that Simon will go through with you in a bit.
So this is the pilot position, and obviously we've got the wheel, which is a hydraulic wheel steering, and it's 3.5 turns in one direction and 3.5 turns back, and it actually stops, which quite surprised me. This is the throttle, which is now silky smooth and works absolutely beautifully. Bow thruster, left and right. Interesting thing with these is that sometimes they work backwards, and you've got to change the position of the blue cable and the white cable around to get it to work in the right direction. The main instrument panel, we still got to get the oil meter and the temperature gauge to work. They work on the warning lights at the moment, but we have to change the sensors, and there's a little technical issue with changing the sensors. And we've got an iPad that we use for navigation. We have depth sounder, VHF radio, and then we've got the things like navigation lights in here, engine room blower, and the horn. So it's great, and you get a great view as you're going along. It's fantastic because you see around all 360 degrees. Brilliant. So the floor in the pilot house here all opens up in 3 big hatches, and therefore you can get to the engine and the generator, and on this side we've actually got a ladder so that you can walk down and get in there to service just things like check the oil, the water, and all the general sort of things. This side over here isn't used quite so much as this side. Another great thing we can do is that the doors open like this if you wish them to, so and then they lock back. So if it's blowing a little bit or something, you can get some plenty of fresh air through, but you've still got this for a bit of privacy and security.
So now I'm going to take you downstairs to the saloon. So here we have a beautiful, beautiful galley. I really like. I have been using it for a week or so, and I'm really enjoying it. So we have the fridge here and the freezer, which are just normal fridge and freezers from home. Here are all the electric cupboards from Simon. He will talk to you about that in a minute. So we have an electric oven. Initially it was a gas oven, but I didn't think it was working very well, so we decided to change because it was losing the heat just on the side, so we decided to change for an electric, and it's working very well. And then we have just the cupboards, all my favorite nuts. More cupboards. It's plenty of storage space. Here we have 2-burner gas hob, which is working perfectly. There's just the normal drawers under the hob, and again it's just plenty of storage. We have this beautiful sink, which is very deep, and I really love it. Which is, and this work surface, it was quite a new thing for us. It's beautiful, and it works. It's working very well too. And we have a breakfast bar with 2 stools where we decide, when we decide to eat inside, that's where we have our meal.
So all this corner and these cupboards here are all to do with the electric, so I'm going to run you through quite quickly on what we have. So these are all 12-volt switches, so everything here, everything on the boat here is controlled from here. So these are little trips as well, either 5, 10 or 20 amp trips. So The pumps, for example, the bilge pumps, the shower pumps, the lights in the back cabin, the toilet lights, all that sort of thing, has an individual switch here so that we can turn things on and off. This is the battery monitor. So currently it's stating that the batteries are 94.9% full. So on this side we have an iPad, which means that we can monitor the batteries, and also we can monitor the solar performance, so we can see how much electricity it is actually generating. Quite interestingly, overnight the batteries go down around about 4% of 640 amp hours, so that's around about 12 amp hours overnight, and that's feeding the fridge to freezer and 4 USB sockets which have phones and chargers and things like that plugged in. In the morning when we put the electric kettle on, to boil the electric kettle is around about 12 amp hours, and so by the time that we've had our first cup of coffee in the morning, we've sucked the batteries by about 10% or 64 amp hours, and normally on a good day it's fully charged again by 10 o'clock. So like yesterday, for example, we had so much solar going on that we generated hot water through the immersion heater running off the batteries and the solar, and that was absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to show you inside this cupboard. Here we go. So we got the 3 isolation switches for the 3 solar panels. We then got 3 control units for the MPPTs for the solar panels, and this is all the wiring here for the this is actually a switch for the water pump, and I've had to reconfigure this, and this is a temporary thing at the moment. This is going to go in a box because basically it was tripping and I couldn't stop it tripping, and so I had to put a fuse behind it, put a correct fuse in, and it works fine now. So I've got to put this switch in a little box here. This is the 240 volt system, so this all runs off the inverter, and every circuit has a separate trip, and I've got 2 here, for example, which are for the battery chargers in the engine room, and then one at the end there which is turned off, which is for the immersion heater for the 30 litre hot water tank. So at the moment the iPad is showing the battery monitor, but I could come out of that one, for example, and go to one of the solars. So this one solar cell, we've got 3 solar cells all on separate circuits, is currently producing 13.6 volts. It's doing 7 to 8 amp hours, and it's at the top of the chart, so it's not actually putting in that much electricity at the moment. But you have to remember this is times 3, so when it says it's doing 7 or 8, it's actually 21, 24 amp hours of power going in, because you've got 3 separate circuits. Okay, so moving on here into this cupboard, this is the actual cupboard with the lithium banking, and there's 16 separate cells. There's 640 amp hours of lithium. This is the inverter here, and yeah, it's got switches and all the things that you would normally expect, battery monitoring system, and it's all ready to go. Absolutely brilliant.
So moving on to the saloon, we have a double sofa here and a chair, a big chair. So we think it's enough, it's very comfortable to have around 4 people around here. So we have the radiators if we need the heating system to work. So we have enough power sockets on this side here and another one on that side. Yeah, so it's enough for you to be here either working or on the breakfast table or sitting here on the sofa. I think it's wonderful. We have big windows, loads of windows this boat has, so it gives you enough air. So we're going to the bedroom now. We have a huge double bed. I told Simon I wanted a high bed, so he did a very high bed, which is great because we can still stand up here. And we have enough storage on the cupboards on the side here. On this side, this bedside table is absolutely amazing because you can have all the phones, iPads, and everything that you normally have on charge with the USB sockets, normal power sockets, light switches, radiator. So yes, it's absolutely great. So here we have an ensuite bathroom. It's a bit small, but it's better to have it than not to have, isn't it? As Simon says. Yeah, so it can go in. So we now go to the back cabin, which we have an ensuite bathroom as well. It has been used already twice. Rafaela has been staying here over the weekends. The bed is a bit smaller, but it's enough for 2 people still. And yeah, it's a lot of cushions here because they are to put outside and the blankets to put outside when we have people outside. It has a little desk with a cupboard here, so if you need to work from home, you can work from here. So here on the outside we have a sitting area on the back. So it's enough to have 4 people sitting down here. We have a little coffee table in the middle, so you can have your drinks there. We are just using an umbrella because it's been very hot here in the last few days. We planned to have a bimini here at the beginning, but then we had some problems and we had to quit the idea, let's say. So here we have a skylight, which they call a dog house, which gives it more air inside if you need to. And then we have an emergency head in the bedroom, which is, yeah, it's great for air inside the front cabin as well. And we have our beautiful mast that we built. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. We actually finding the boat very, very comfortable to live on. As I said, we have been living full-time on the boat for the last 10 days.
Yeah, 10 days. It's been incredible. The lithiums are absolutely amazing. It's working really well. And even the oven, the other day you were using the oven and
over an hour.
Well over an hour, nearly 2 hours. And we were fine, we were good. It did take a little bit of time to recharge, but it all recharged. And it's very, very good. Excellent. Really pleased. Very pleased.
Very pleased. That's because it's something that we built. So it's finding out that everything works. Everything that was so planned in detail and it works so well.
We've had a few little teething problems, haven't we? But that's mainly been the central heating system. And getting that going properly.
Yes.
But we're just about there. But it's inevitable if there's a new boat and everything's been put together that you get a few teething problems. But it's beautiful and it's so quiet.
Very quiet. Yeah, that really surprises me because we did the insulation inside the engine room really well, and it's just showing it because it's absolutely incredible.
And we had no problem in this pilot house of having a conversation with the engine running.
Yes.
Which was, really worried me being a motorboat.
Yeah.
That it would be really noisy.
No, that's okay. That's no problem at all. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.